Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. Hope you're having a good day. In this video, I want to talk about three what questions related to linear regression tables very quickly. What are they? What are they used for? And what are the parts? Now, there's a couple of websites that I would suggest that you go to if you're unfamiliar with linear regression. What I'm going to be talking about in this video are tables for multiple linear regression. So we're not addressing special case, we're not addressing time series, we're not addressing logistic, binary, multinomial, multi-independent, multi-dependent. It's just simply multiple linear regression. So for those of you who are building the more complex tables, some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about applies, and some of it we may have to modify a little bit. So what are they? Well, if we come to this website where we've got reading a regression table, a guide for students, and this website, 10 things to know about reading a regression table. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about can be found on these two websites. I would suggest that you spend some time looking at them. Most people learn the math that you need to know to conduct linear regression analysis in about 6th grade. The application, the interpretation is what you have to learn later. But if we ask the question, what are they for? Well, what they're for is to show the relationship of independent variables as they influence the dependent variable. That's what these tables are. They are for basically describing that relationship. Now, I can't get into the covariance structure in these tables unless I create covariate matrices and analyze those separately. Sometimes when you get into a presentation, a professor will ask you, well, what about the covariance? This table can't really do that. Now, if we do some things to this table, we can include it. So, for example, we've got, looks like we've got 4 variables. What we could do is we could create some cross variables, population by burglary, larceny by theft, and see what the interaction effect is. But in this table, we haven't done that because we're creating just a multiple linear regression table. Okay. So what are they used for? Well, as I said, they're used to describe that relationship. The problem becomes when we add more than one independent variable, because we don't know what the covariance structure is like. We cannot make assumptions regarding each individual variable and its influence on the other independent variables and the dependent variable. So it gets a little fuzzy. And that is one of the reasons why, we look at the last question, or the parts of these tables, typically, when we look at the different parts of this regression table, we ignore the part that the novice will look at. The novice is going to look at the B and the standard errors. And yes, there's some useful information there. But really what we want to look at is we want to look at the beta values. It provides us a little bit more information, allows us to do some things that we can't do with B. We then have a t-value, which, depending on what type of table we build, we can also do some information. And then finally, your sig value. And that's the part that most students care about. Is it less than 0.05? Most of this information can be found when you interpret your descriptive statistics. We build these tables to help us support the conclusion that we've reached, that we're going to present in discussion. I've said it once and I'll keep saying it. Statistics doesn't prove the story that we're trying to tell. It supports the story. And that's what these tables are for. I hope this video has answered some of your questions. Hope it's raised some. If it has, we'd love to hear them. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day.